A drink of water?
After you. Who is that young girl?
I thank you for the valorous way you came to our aid and helped us turn the tide. And I owe you my life.
Tell me, who is that beautiful girl?
Don't look at her too often. You will lose the favor of Atatur, of which you are worthy. It's Amar who is to be his wife.
Who is Atatur?
If you don't know of our powerful emir, you cannot be from Samaris.
When I was last in Samaris, your emir was Nias.
His reign ended a long time ago. What is your name?
Kadir.
Many years have passed since you went away from here. In that time, there have been great changes.
Are they for better or for worse?
For you, it is of no importance. If you intend to remain in Samaris, your fortune is made. My name is Kamas, known as the right arm of the emir, Atatur. And you have saved my life twice today. Atatur would not have hesitated one moment to have me beheaded if we had returned without Amar. I am grateful to the destiny that caused our paths to cross.
The designs of Allah are wise and impenetrable.
We will proceed at once to Samaris. Will you come with us? When you are well rested, we will continue on our journey, my noble lady.
Is it far to Samaris?
Beyond those dunes, you'll see the new home you are going to, where I trust you will dwell long and happily.
I fear your good wishes can only be partly fulfilled. It is possible that fate will grant me a long life.
But happiness, why do you exclude that? Only Allah knows what is waiting for us in the days to come.
I know that a husband is waiting for me now who is not of my choosing.
None of us is able to choose his own destiny. And yet many are content with theirs.
All the better for you if you are content.
I consider myself very fortunate because I serve the powerful Atatur.
I recognize this place. I used to gallop out here almost every day. When I rode my first horse, it was a gift from my father.
Who was your father?
He was a merchant. But you still haven't told me yet, Kamis, when you came here and what it was that brought you to Samaris.
I came from Asan, a coastal city. Atatur brought me along with his troops when he went through there on his way to Samaris. There he married the daughter of Nias, and after the death of the emir, he ascended the throne as it was his right to do. But his wife also died a short while after.
Was it a heavy blow to Atatur?
To the extent that for several years he gave no thought to anything but increasing his power and that of the city, which followed naturally.
The people of Samaris were at one time lovers of peace.
Perhaps they love it as before. The troops that fight for Atatur are mercenaries. They are without doubt the best soldiers, and have won all the wars they have fought in. The last was against Kevrin. The young princess whom I am now escorting, Amar, is the daughter of their emir, and Atatur has decided to marry her. On this condition, he did not destroy the city.
Now I understand why it is she journeys to meet her future husband without joy in her eyes.
After what has been told me by my trusted Kamis of your valor, I can do no less than offer you a post in my service. Kamis has no doubt told you how generous I am with those who serve me well. Decide without haste. You may only accept to stay here or go away from Samaris. I want men like you definitely on my side or as far as possible from here.
The greatest fortune that can ever befall a soldier is being able to serve a powerful sovereign. This has always been my strongest ambition. And I don't believe that by looking far from here, I would find a single one equal to you.
If it was Kamis who instructed you in your responses, he couldn't possibly have done it better.
My great and sovereign lord, I have done nothing more than speak of you to him with the immense admiration you know I have for you, and the gratitude that I owe you.
In that case, you're wise too, Kadir, as well as valiant. And I am munificent with all those who serve me with their intelligence, as I am also with the man who serves me with his valor. With you, I shall be so twice over.
I would like to ask of you one thing only. Give me without delay the great occasion to demonstrate to you that you have judged me well.
Agreed. You will go with Kamis into the desert, and there you will punish the marauders who have dared to attack a caravan of Samaris. You who have served me for many years, Kamis, know what I mean by punishment, don't you? A punishment to be useful must contain a powerful warning for the future. If it's mild, it's only a sign of weakness. Far more dangerous for him who gives it than for him who receives it.
You are right, my noble lord.
I am not interested in having the guilty ones brought back. For me, the whole lot of them is guilty. Therefore, you are not to demand any explanations or give any, but attack and destroy them all. These are my orders. And you, my good counselors. I suppose that all of you agree with them.
Certainly, my lord, and we all bow low before your wisdom, Emir.
Has the assembly heard? All of us agree.
Let there be fulfilled the will of Allah. And yours too, Emir, my only sovereign.
Above all others, my own will. They've left the city. Those marauders will repent very quickly of the affront they subjected you to. The danger you incurred will be canceled by their blood.
How could they have known I was traveling with a caravan?
But I know you were there, and a stroke from one of their swords could have wounded you.
Do you really hold my life so dear?
Just as I do with all my belongings.
Yet my heart does not belong to you, Atatur.
Oh, very well then. I'm not concerned about your heart. Huh. Would you like to know the secret of my great power, gentle little Ammar? I always pursue exclusively whatever I am quite certain I am capable of obtaining. If I had deluded myself into thinking I could ever reign over my people by counting on their loyalty, I'd have ceased being Emir long ago. The people don't love me, and I do absolutely nothing to gain their love. I have my soldiers well trained to crush them into submission. Jackals like my Kames. These are the kind of men who are useful to me, and whom I cultivate. As far as you are concerned, you are mine whether you like it or not, on the basis of a written treaty. And you will be faithful like the most passionate wife on earth. Because if you really love your city, if you really love your father, if you love your brothers and your country's people, you will conduct yourself with me in the same way as if you loved me. And you must admit that I am rather generous also. I do not even require that you pretend to be in love with me. I could do so, but I detest all falsity. As you see, I have told you clearly what I shall expect of you.
Your so-called clarity, Atatur, is usually called cynicism. I know you want me only as an instrument for your pleasure.
An instrument that is truly wonderful, Ammar. Your beauty is a thing that is so splendid and utterly ravishing that it will delight even a soul as bitter as mine is.
assaulted a caravan of Samaras. Speak up.
We haven't assaulted any caravan.
I didn't say it was you three. They had a much greater number, those dogs of marauders.
They were certainly not of the tribe of Hussein. If from time to time there's been any fighting in which our men and yours were involved, we were never the ones who provoked you to it.
This morning some of your men did it, and you were all going to regret it.
A thing that we regret a great deal more than your anger has already befallen us. And I'm not telling you this to make you show us any pity, but so you will understand that you've made an error.
Explain what you mean.
The well that supplied us has gone dry, and you know as well as I do what it means for a tribe of nomads to have to discover another one as quickly as possible. It is a search that requires every ounce of our energy and absorbs completely all our time and attention. Why, there could pass before us the very richest caravans of the desert, but not one of us would lift a finger against it.
Searchers don't ride at a gallop as you were doing.
You are quite right. But our duty at the present time is another one, all thanks be to Allah. We are scouring the desert to call back the searchers to the oasis. A new well has been found only today, over there to the east of the Falcon's rocks, and tomorrow we are going there to take possession of it.
What he has told us could be true. I, too, know what it's like when you don't have water in the desert. And thirst threatens the men's lives. I want to believe you. You can ride on. If we had taken one prisoner, we would know by now who it was that assaulted us.
You're no longer sure the attackers were nomads of Hussein?
I never have been sure they were. What I know is they were wearing the same clothes they do, but it could have been a disguise in order to trick us.
If you already had a doubt about it, why didn't you say so to the emir?
Splendid. And do you know what would have been the conclusion drawn by Atatur? That I was protecting the nomads for some reason. That I was only looking for excuses. He would have accused me of cowardice and taken away my command.
He'll do it anyway if we go back without joining battle with them.
No, we will not join battle with them. The region of the Falcon's Rocks is an ideal place for an ambush, and tonight we'll take up our position on the surrounding highlands. I'll send a messenger into the city to order them to send more troops of horsemen from Samaras. And while we are attacking them from the front, the reinforcements will attack them from two sides. They'll have no way of escaping.
But you said it might be an unjust reprisal.
Atatur doesn't think so, and I obey the orders he gives me.
Kamis, don't you think that's infamous?
As a friend, I advise you to forget that word altogether. Call it obedience, and you'll be able to remain at peace with yourself.
The warrior that you have described to me is without any doubt Kamis, the commanding officer of the mercenaries of Samaras. He's a man not to be trusted, unscrupulous. It doesn't astonish me that he captured you, but that he immediately gave you back your liberty. It's this that worries me.
You would have more reason to be worried, Father, if any of our warriors had really assaulted one of their caravans.
Yes, but all the searchers for water have returned to the oasis, except for one group.
Yes, that is true. The one that was led by your son Omar. The only one we were unable to find in the region he had been assigned to do his searching. Omar probably decided to extend his searching over an area beyond the one you had assigned to him.
Yes, it's the only explanation. You can go. The only explanation that appears reasonable. But you know your brother has always been hot-headed.
But he's not a madman. Do you really think it was Omar who assaulted that caravan? No, Father. I'm ready to have you cut off my right hand.
Now, my son, your mother brought you into the world with two hands as usual. In homage to her dear memory, take care of both of them, will you?
Chieftain! Who is the chieftain?
I am he.
And who are you? What are you after in these lands?
I can't answer you either of the things you're asking.
You certainly realize, don't you, that I can kill you and all your men along with
And you may do it.
I see that several of them are wounded.
A discussion arose amongst us, and the men began fighting it out.
You're lying. And equally deceitful are those clothes that you're all wearing. You've taken on an aspect that's identical to the one we have. Whoever sees you would confuse you with the warriors of Hussein. Tell me one thing. Have you been fighting with the warriors of Samaras?
Perhaps they were warriors of Samaras.
And Atatur will think, of course, that it was our men. Is this what you were trying to do?
Not with the idea of causing any trouble for you.
However, we'll have it. There's no doubt of that. We can expect severe reprisals from Atatur. And once again, there'll be war in the desert.
If this should happen, no one will regret it more than we.
It's a grave thing that you have done. If there should be a war, my father will surely condemn to death a lot of you. We must return at once to the oasis. I have to inform my father without further delay of the danger that threatens us.
To wait for the return of Omar before starting on the march again.
Our people have too great a necessity to occupy the oasis. Otherwise, I would have waited.
The well is not far away now, Father. In a very little while, we'll arrive at the Falcon's rocks, and from there you can already catch sight of the palm trees.
Ah!
Have passed by. We too will go back to Kamet. Instead, you will go and bring forward the reinforcements. They're gathered on the plain of El Safar. This is the right moment. Go.
Father, look there! What do you think their intentions are?
Evil ones, I'm afraid. Are you convinced at last? Now you see the result of the foolishness of Omar.
They're attacking us! Forward, men!
Warriors, follow me! snipers!
I want him alive. He must be taken prisoner.
Greetings to you, Salem.
May Allah protect you, Omar.
Where are my father and the others?
At the new oasis.
Have you any orders for me from my father?
Yes, you are to wait for a message here. You will escort all the rest of us to the new oasis when he calls for us. You better obey him this time because he is very angry with you.
He is angry. But why?
He's heard a rumor that you and your men have assaulted a caravan of Samaras.
It is not true, Salem. I will hand over to you the men who did it. You will put these prisoners under guard.
Thomas, shall we go after them?
They've had enough for now, I'd say. Don't you agree, Hussein?
Thomas! The son of Hussein managed to get away from us.
That's of no importance to us. We have taken his father. To Samaras!
You know the fate that awaits you.
I'm only sorry that my death will not be able to cancel out the terrible evil I have brought upon you.
What do you mean by that? And do you believe I would have any pity on you even if I believed you had repented?
No, I have not repented of it, and I would do it all over again, although I know the consequences and despite the regret I feel for it.
Will you stop that speaking in enigmas in the name of Allah? I want to know the reason for it. Why did you do this thing?
I'm not going to tell you. Not even if you promise to give me my life and liberty, and set all my men free too.
I have another project in mind for you, Jafar. There is someone who will make you tell the truth. I'll turn you all over to him.
Ataturk?
You have spared me the displeasure of pronouncing that man's repulsive name.
With us, if anyone makes war against us, we make war against him in return. We would never give him the prisoners we've taken.
We're in the grasp of Ataturk. Our own father is held prisoner by that man. If we make war against him in reply to war against us, he would kill him for certain.
Don't tie yourself up with talking. I'll offer an exchange to the emir, my father against the men who really assaulted the caravan. Perhaps your secret will get his curiosity aroused. And in that case, you won't keep your secret very much longer.
best piece I have.
What do you want for it?
4 piastres.
That's far too much, isn't it?
Take him away to prison. No, Minnie, that's all.
Hold there, Kadir. Is it with these principles of justice and right that Atatur governs here with tyranny?
The soldiers all love him almost like a god, because each one of them is allowed to conduct himself in his turn like a little tyrant, too. Atatur leaves them completely free to carry out every kind of abuse of power, of oppression, and of unchecked thievery they want to. And in this manner, he is assured of their
assured of the hatred of his people also.
The people are not as strong as his hired soldiery.
Our beloved Emir of another day, Nias, founded his power as a ruler upon the love of his subject people.
But Nias is dead, and Atatur is very much alive. Come along and don't think about it. These are not problems that concern us.
And you really want me to believe that the men who attacked the caravan weren't warriors of your tribe?
Why should this thing seem so very incredible to you? You had enemies in abundance before you made war against us.
Yes, but my enemies, Omar, know to their sorrow from having experimented how dangerous it is to challenge me.
And this is an excellent reason for disguising themselves so that the blame will fall upon others.
Yes. It's possible, of course, but at the same time, much too fantastic.
I have noticed one thing, Atatur. All your favoring courtiers and your paid adulators and your false counselors frequently, when they're addressing you, use the word wise. Oh, yes, they call you Atatur the Wise. But the quality that distinguishes a wise man is that of being capable of using his brain.
Miserable wretch! You will never teach me to use it.
Use the brain you have, Atatur, if you're truly as wise as they say. When an enemy comes to attack me with his face uncovered, I'm on guard and I'm ready. But when my attacker is wearing a mask, then my guard is just twice as alert. And if that mask shows the features of another, I do all I can to tear it off and discover the true face of the man. Because I know this adversary's treacherous, and he's my enemy 3 times over.
That will do. You need only bring your prisoners here, and I'll liberate your father.
No. The exchange must take place in the desert. At the beginning of the trail to Karmas. I will conduct the prisoners there to you, and you will bring my father to the appointment, and there'll be no need for you to bring an army along with you.
What you are saying is out of order, though you may not realize it. You are presuming to give orders to our Emir.
No, what I'm very probably doing is saving your Emir's life.
Kamis, I order you to do as Omar has said. Exactly as he has said.
I shall, O wise Atatur.
But don't you believe me, my noble lady? On the palm of your hand it's clearly written that you'll be the wife of a great king. And the very happiest wife that was ever seen.
You know, I don't really believe everything you're saying.
Allah will be offended if you talk like that.
It is you who will offend him if you interpret the lines in my hand in your own way just to please me.
But it's written here exactly as I said. You'll be happy, I know. Oh.
I should be grateful to you, my dear, if you would try to restrain that movement of repulsion that runs through you when you see me.
I myself, believe me, would much prefer not to feel it.
Only wait a little. With the passage of time, one gets used to the most disgusting things, admitting that my aspect makes that impression.
It's not your aspect that does it, but it's your soul.
Was it so much different from what you felt when you were kissed by Jafar?
Jafar?
You talk while you are sleeping, and in your sleep you said that name over and over. Do not ask of me how I know it. The walls of my palace have ears.
But they won't serve you to learn any secrets I might have, because I have nothing to hide from anyone. And that name I was heard murmuring while I was asleep, I can pronounce without the slightest shame, even in your presence. Jafar is my own brother.
Warriors, men, I want them all taken prisoner.
of more use to your father by staying alive than if you're dead. Go on.
There were many more of them when we first started fighting.
Yes, there were many more, and all of them living.
There are 7 of them left to take back to the Emir. Let's hope that he'll be content, and that he doesn't get angry at the flight of Omar.
It was entirely my fault. I should have ridden after him, but I didn't do it.
Is that so? Well, it's better that Atatur doesn't learn of it. We'll tell him that he escaped and let it go at that.
Kamis, I know you saw that he escaped because I let him go.
I know anyone can have a moment's distraction.
I did it because I wanted to.
For me, it was only distraction.
I swear I do not understand you, Kamis. You're loyal and generous. But where do you find the cruelty and cynicism you need in the service of Atatur?
And neither do you seem to be a scoundrel, Kadir. And yet somehow you are in his service, too.
But I have my good reasons for it.
When you tell me what they are, then I'll tell you mine.
Let's pray to Allah that we don't run into any more enemies, Jafar.
That's a risk we'll have to take. Otherwise, we'll be forced to abandon our enterprise and return to Keverin. If I were to tell you the actual reason for our assault on the caravan, you would have acted in exactly the same way. Indeed, I would have suggested to you myself to deliver us to Atatur, because your primary obligation would naturally be to rescue your father from his imprisonment.
But you cannot count on a man as treacherous as Atatur.
You have to try it all the same.
Do you wish to tell us now what your reason was?
Oh, yes. My name is Jafar, and I am the only son of the Emir of Keverin. Just as the Princess Amar, the young girl who was traveling with the caravan we attacked, is his daughter. Amar was being escorted to Samaris because Atatur decided to make her his wife. He forced this marriage upon my father as a condition for peace. And if he refused, this monster of cruelty swore he would raze to the ground all of Keverin.
And you are against this?
I am determined to rescue my sister from the unhappy destiny that is waiting for her in Samaris. We will have to keep ourselves free of every suspicion, because otherwise the vengeance of Atatur will be something inconceivable.
Are you afraid of him, then?
We are not cowards, we of Keverin, but Atatur has an army that is much bigger than ours. And if he should decide to attack us a second time, we have no illusions as to our fate.
You talk like a fool, Jafar. Not only have you attracted disaster upon all of us, you've sealed the destiny of your city. Your disguise is of no use, and all of your men have fallen right into the hands of Atatur.
I can see you don't know my men, Omar. Not one of them will speak, whatever tortures that fiend from hell invents for them.
If you knew the executioners of Atatur, you wouldn't be so certain of that.
Do you recognize any of these men as the ones who attacked you, Kamis?
When I'm in battle, I pay a great deal more attention to the swords of my enemies than to their faces.
Of course, of course. They themselves would admit that. What I want to know is who they are, where they are from, and why they try to pass themselves off as nomads of Hussein.
Abdul.
Yes, my lord.
You are the master in the art of loosening tongues. But I warn you, they mustn't die before having satisfied my curiosity. You will take their place if they do. I myself will see to your torture with my own hands. Go. In any event, I think we should know everything soon. And if they don't speak, there is someone who will make them. You can't imagine who that is, Comus?
No, a wise one.
You often call me wise, Comus. However, wisdom alone means nothing if you don't always combine it with cunning.
Amar. Don't cry out. I have something to tell you. I beg you not to be afraid of me. I won't do you any harm. Now listen to me.
Who are you?
Who I am is of no importance. What is important is that you put your faith in me. I've not come here to deceive you, but only so I can try to help you in overcoming the unhappiness and suffering that awaits you. You must be brave. In your hands, Amar, lies the destiny of your city, and of your father, of your brothers, and of all your people.
How is this possible?
Tomorrow, Atatur will have you look at some unfortunate wretches, and he will ask you if you know them. They have been reduced to such a condition that it will tear at your heart. I beg of you, Amar, you must look at the men as though they mean absolutely nothing to you. You will no doubt recognize some of them, but you'll have to pretend that you have never before seen them. They themselves would ask that of you, Amar, if they were able to. And also Atatur is sure to tell you that saving their lives depends solely on a word from you. You'll decline. You see, there's no other way to save them. Your confession to him could immediately set in motion an avenging war against Keverin, because those poor devils are the ones who made an attempt to capture you from him.
And how do you know all this?
It wasn't difficult to understand, and it is understood by Atatur. And since I don't mistake the wickedness of his spirit, you must not refuse me this test. May Allah give you the strength to accomplish it. Farewell, Amar.
again, as usual, you've already missed most of Samira, the most precious pearl of Samaras. She's as lovely as a goddess, with the face of a queen, wouldn't you say?
Yes, I would. I was watching her with interest. There's certainly something regal about her. She's different from all the other dancers I've seen.
Samira is a rare find indeed.
It's amazing the amount of respect they're giving her. I don't hear a sound from any of the tables except complimentary ones.
Only compliments are due her.
It's rare in a tavern like this for a dancer to be allowed to come to the end of her dance. It's a common thing for some drunk to try to seize her and strip off her veils.
It would be some stupid drunk who wants to have his life shortened.
Is there a law of Atatur that protects Samira?
No. I take care of her. I've reserved a fine surprise for my friend. The brightest star in the whole of Samaras belongs to Kamis.
And Samira is honored in having him for a patron.
Thomas is a big bully. A bully and a dirty villain.
Don't move. He's blind drunk. Go and wait for me in your room.
Go on, Samira. It would be better.
There are a few things I want to tell him.
You can tell him, but not in here. Not in my tavern, you won't, you miserable tongue of a serpent. Get out of here. Go somewhere else and sober up. Foul drunkard. Pay no attention to his gracious comments.
Stop it!
Go and tell it to your master, you worm, cockroach, miserable cockroach of Atatur. Loathsome servant of an assassin. Yes, assassin, and if he asks who dared call him assassin, you can tell him it was Silup, the eldest son of Bakhtiar. We will see whether he's forgotten my father, because Bakhtiar was an important man at court, and an honest one who was esteemed far above the one who destroyed him. And Bakhtiar never knew the reason, but you know it. All of Samaras knows it. But nobody will speak of it, because of being afraid. Atatur had arranged to dispose of our good old Emir Nias and his 2 children. One he had killed, and the other somehow disappeared mysteriously. The one that disappeared was a baby. Her name was Ferion. And you, Kamis, are the filthy servant of that assassin. May Allah curse you and him for all eternity!
That's enough. Put him in chains, in the dungeon.
Up in the hands of the executioner! We must save him!
Be careful, Nasib!
often, but believe me, when it does happen, I have lots of fun with it.
So do I.
Everything went off in a most enjoyable manner. If I'm not mistaken, my error will have no serious consequences.
You're forgetting Philip, who is risking his life for us.
I will think about saving it in case I've made a mistake.
I pray you haven't, Camus. Even I had the sensation that he was telling the truth.
Is it possible I was as drunk as all that? Offending the great Atatur? No. No, I recall nothing of those awful words. Tell me it isn't true.
Everything that I have just related to you came right out of your own mouth.
Then I must escape from Samaras at once, this very night.
If I, of course, should permit you.
You won't let me go? It would mean my death if I remain in Samaras. I'm only a poor man who never did anything bad. Forgive me.
You have publicly insulted the Emir. If I were to let you go, I would become your accomplice.
1,000 curses on this tongue of mine. I was drunk, you know that. I didn't know what I was saying.
On the contrary, in the tavern, it seemed to me that there was much more to your story than what you revealed to us. If you wish to save yourself, you must tell me everything. Only on these terms will I allow you to go.
Anything I know, everyone in Samaras knows.
Yes, but no one speaks. You mentioned this as well during your drunken prattle. Well, you've begun it, and you'll finish it. Tell me, how did Emir Nias die?
It was called a hunting accident. On that fatal day, he decided to go hunting. Alone, he was to be their prey. And he was exactly that. The arrow that pierced his heart left the bow of his son-in-law. All of Samaras could tell you this, if they dared speak of these things.
Continue, go on.
What else do you wish to be told? How the daughter of Nias met her death, the bride of Atatur, in her own bed, but certainly not from illness. She was suffocated with a cushion. Her dear husband held it tightly to her face until she no longer had breath in her body.
And what of Ferian, the other child of Nias? Do you know of her?
No one knows anything for certain about Ferian, not even Atatur. It is said that he ordered one of the palace guards to kill her. And Ferian was never seen again. Short while later, the guard had his eyes burned out. This would make one think that something had aroused the Emir's suspicions, and that perhaps his orders weren't exactly followed. How could he possibly kill a little 10-year-old girl? Ferian was no older than that at the time.
But Nias, were no sons born to him?
Yes, one. He was called Auda. He would be about your age if he was still alive. But if Auda was still alive, I know he would have returned a long time ago to Samaras.
And would you obey the son of Nias if he should return?
If Auda returned, not only I, but all the population of Samaras would be obedient to him, and they would be ready to rise in revolt at his orders against Atatur.
Auda has now returned.
Oh, blessed Allah, who has guided your footsteps to us. Come, Auda, come. The face of the young one so greatly beloved has developed into that of a man. No one in the court could recognize Auda, but Irain knows who he is, and it is of little importance that I cannot see. Although I'm blind, I see with the eyes of my heart.
Get up, Irain. You don't belong on your knees, but here in my arms.
Receive, O sovereign, the homage of your faithful subjects.
It is I, who should bow to your loyalty. Stand up now, I order you. Silip, Kamis, and you, Ali. And who are you?
I am the son of Ibrahim, my Emir. O most gracious Allah, who has granted us the return of the son of Nias to our city and to our people.
My friends, the days of Atatur from this moment on are numbered.
Yes, my loyal friends. And I give you my sacred word. My most solemn pledge to work to liberate Samaras from the weight of his tyranny. And I swear it on the memory of my poor father and the countless others like him who are also victims. My brave and faithful Silip, a little while ago you mentioned that an official of the royal guards had his eyes burned out by order of the usurper Atatur. And you, Irain, weren't you once a member of the palace guards?
Yes, Auda. And it was I myself who requested the mission of doing away with the child, because any other would have killed Ferian.
Are you saying that my sister is alive?
And you are acquainted with her?
Yes, Emir. It was in my tavern where she is protected and honored by those of us who are aware of her secret, and she is equally respected by all of those who are in ignorance of it. And never are they disrespectful to her.
That's true. No one would dare. Everyone knows I am her protector, and that's why, to be on the safe side, no one insults her.
But are you referring to Samira, the little dancing girl?
To everyone, she's the dancing girl and my woman. But in truth, it is I who am her slave, and I don't dare address myself to her when we are alone, except with the greatest of humility, and with my eyes lowered to the ground.
Kamis, what a most faithful heart I see hidden beneath your mask of villainy.
Now you must see why I pretend to serve Atatur so zealously. There's little doubt that I am the most hated man in all of Samaras, but as compensation, I am the one who enjoys his complete faith.
That's true, Auda. He is the one we depend on for the safety of Ferian.
Your sister is impatient to embrace you, Emir.
You should not be calling me Emir yet, nor even Auda. The first thing I must do is to reclaim my name, together with my title. My subjects could well have no memory of the name of Auda, even though it was not of my own volition that I remained so far from Samaras all these long years. My ship was wrecked in a storm, and the pirates who rescued me made my life miserable. And that was my existence for 4 long years.
How terribly you must have suffered.
And my torment was finished when the vessel of the pirates encountered the fleet of one of our allies. There followed a battle which our allies won. Every one of the crew was captured, and I was, with the grace of Allah, at liberty. But I had to go along with their expedition to a far-off land.
It's dawn. Auda, I don't think that one night would be sufficient time to recount all of your adventures to your sister.
Yes, that's true. And on your face, dear Ferian, I see the signs of weariness.
It's not weariness, Auda. It's because I feel so full of emotion and so overwhelmed with joy, that's why.
And now it's time you got some rest. We must take our leave now.
No, please wait a while. I wish first to say something to my brother, my good Kamis. You have not only protected me all these years, but you were a comfort as well. You kept alive my hopes and spirits. You have always been like a brother.
The pleasure was given me to be a faithful servant to you. To watch over your safety that way, Princess, has been recompense enough for me.
Kamis, wir sind dir wirklich alle sehr dankbar. Und Ferian, glaube ich, mehr als alle.
Hey, you. Open up.
Look at them well, my lovely one. It will be great good fortune for these people if you are able to recognize them. In this case, it would mean the ending of their torture. Look at them in the face, one by one. Do you recognize anyone? Answer me, Amar. Do you know any of them?
No, I don't know.
You are lying. Oh, very well. So much the worse for them. They will have to continue to suffer because of you. Go on with your work. You must look at it.
I beg of you, Atatur, I beg of you, please make them stop it in the name of Allah.
Then will you tell me who they are? Don't fool yourself that I'm not informed. They are warriors of Kevrin. They have tried to abduct you away from me, disguising themselves as nomads, hoping that by doing so they would be able to spare your city from my terrible vengeance. So be it. I will consider giving my pardon to Keverin. Only if you yourself ask it of me. And finally end the sufferings of these poor devils. Beg me, and it will be granted.
I implore you, my Lord Atatur, don't force me.
I would appreciate your confessing without having to force you. If I had not had to wait for it for such a long time.
But you have promised me, Atatur. My poor people have had more than their share of suffering. I wouldn't want to bring any more upon them through any fault of mine. Or that my name should be despised forever by all my people.
In that case, they could put the blame on these countrymen of yours. But I've already promised you. Yes, certainly, I promised you. Accompany her back to her apartments.
Abdul.
I have promised that the sufferings of these wretches will soon be over. But I did not say when.
My most worthy lord and master, the amount of punishment that they can stand is stretched to the limit. If we should continue any longer with the torture, they will surely die.
That's it. And by so doing, I shall then keep my promise. When they're dead, they cease to suffer anymore.
Bring along some more bread.
Very well.
Why have you followed us here?
Certainly not to spy on you.
I wasn't thinking that you did. I asked you a simple question, Jafar. I would like you to give me an answer.
I thought that perhaps you would need me.
We are more than enough.
I don't see Omar.
You'll see him.
How many servants are there?
I don't know. I think 4 or 5.
Isn't there something I can possibly do to help you?
Why do you ask?
You see, I'm the one who has caused all your troubles, but in spite of that, you have treated me like a good friend.
Because you made us completely aware of your reasons.
The wrong that I have done remains.
We will look for a way to remedy that.
However, it is I who should find it.
The essential thing is that someone do it. You stand to risk much more than we do. Yes.
No, that's not true. We all have the same fear when we are face to face with death.
If you should fall into the hands of Atatur, death will be faced not alone by you, now remember that, but by many others as well, even more innocent than you are.
And it was for the same reason that we dressed ourselves like you, because of your poor father lying in captivity.
But why, then, should we add one misfortune to another? Your sentiment is a sincere one. When we see Omar, we will speak to him about it.
You're unfortunate, Hussein. It's much too late, but I've discovered the fact that your tribe does not merit my punishment.
It is you, on the other hand, who should merit ours, because of all the evil you have done to us.
And that is what is your misfortune. The fact that without any good reason, I have to keep you as my prisoner, as though you were in some way guilty.
I have 2 grown sons, Atatur, and they will surely deliver me. And should you have me killed, my sons will avenge me.
Pay attention.
Quickly! Hurry up!
Scoundrel!
Quiet, you.
Have you gone out of your mind? Don't you know that she's Khamas's woman? And Khamas is sure to turn the entire city upside down in order to
You'll
find
never
her.
find her in the city. You will tell this to the exalted Khamas. If he wants to see Samira again, let him come to the oasis of Hussein, but all alone and unarmed.
And not to try any more of his tricks if he has any love for his woman, because if he does, he will be the cause of her death. Let's go now. And don't shout, do you hear?
Samira.
You shouldn't worry about her, at least for the time being.
What do you want of me to release her?
We want our father.
Hussein is not my prisoner, but the Emir's.
You're a good pupil of that great teacher, the Emir.
You two act like madmen. Atatur doesn't care a thing about Samira. She's of so little importance to him, you might as well kill her.
And that is just what we may do.
But you will be killing your father as well. This equal payment the Emir will most surely give me.
In Samaras, they call you the Great Khamis. You're the most feared of the commanders, who can certainly go down into the dungeons and bring out a prisoner, whoever he is.
You don't know what you're saying. If this prisoner is really your father, all the jailers and guards would pay a very heavy price, and I as well as they.
Whatever happens afterwards concerns only you. We will return Samira back to you when we'll once again see our father.
And you'd better not be as treacherous as you were the other time.
I will think about it.
Khamis! And not more than 5 days. On the 6th, we kill the woman.
By the Prophet, we mean what we say.
Now what?
Well, we've presented him with our conditions, but I don't know what he's going to do.
If he plans to free our father, then he too will have to go away from Samaras, where he's almost as important as the Emir. He'd have to be very much in love with his woman to renounce his great position for her.
However, it is possible. We must pray for it.
At least you two have something to hope for. I have nobody to turn to help my sister. Her wedding day is fixed for the day of our Lord Allah, and I am unable to stop the course of the sun in order to forestall that day.
Listen carefully to our advice, Jafar. Return to Keverin. I'm not going to wait for the day of Allah. I've decided. I've asked for the expert advice of the astrologers, and they're all in accord that Allah is in complete agreement. Is that right?
You are loved in heaven as you are feared on earth.
The festivities will have their beginning tomorrow. Every citizen, even the poorest one, must make me a gift of a horse or a camel. It's about time, Khamis. My men were looking for you all through the city.
My Lord Emir Atatur, I've just now returned from an inspection.
What news do you bring to me?
Grave.
Get out, everyone. Leave us alone. No, Qadir, I want you to stay. You are but a short time in my service, but you have done more than enough to earn my appreciation. Only to you two will I tell the true reason for my decision to advance the day of my wedding. I am suddenly in a great hurry to carry out my revenge. And because of that, I don't intend to wait until the day of Allah to begin my march against the city of Keverin. Because this is the very first thing that I shall do immediately after my wedding is over. You will prepare the expedition in great secrecy. And my lovely Ammar must not even have the slightest suspicion that her devoted bridegroom is intending to go so far away from her and spoil the joy of that great day.
My wise sovereign, your orders will be executed in the way you wish as always.
Yes, certainly, my lord. You may count on us.
And so I will be waiting for both of you.
They have given me 5 days to hand over Hussein. Then they will give us Farian. For me, it would be too many days by 5. I would see to it that Hussein was released from that prison this very night.
I agree with you, Khamis. This very night, then.
And after? If you should order me to remain in Samaras to be killed by Atatur, I'll do it. But then I won't be any more use to you than if I were outside the walls.
All right, you'll stay outside the walls.
And then I won't be any more use to you than if I were dead.
That need not be true, Khamis.
If you have something in mind, I beg of you, Qadir, don't keep it away from us any longer.
One's ideas are likely to come vaguely at first, more often than not. Give me some time to reflect a while longer.
I have the duty before you go any further of warning you. The people are anxious to make a general uprising, but they are unprepared for carrying it out. You can take them with you in an assault on the Emir's residence. But the mercenaries of Atatur are all armed completely and very highly trained in the art of combat.
No, Irayin. I was thinking of another idea. And the suggestion for it came to me directly from Atatur. Perhaps you don't know yet what he has decreed must be done to honor his wedding day.
And who doesn't know it? The fact has already been cried in every street in Samaris. Each and every citizen here is required to make him a gift of a camel or a horse, one thing or the other.
That's right. And every citizen here in the next few days must provide himself with a camel or a horse, one or the other.
This is certain if he wishes to keep his head on his shoulders.
What I wouldn't give in these times to be a trader of horses or camels.
You must listen carefully to me, because now I can see clearly how my plan will work out. I'll instruct every one of you in what you have to do. You, Kamis, already have a task assigned you. Liberate Hussein, and both of you wait for me at the Gate of the Sun. We'll then go together out of Samaras. When you see me again, I won't be alone.
How did you get in here?
It isn't difficult to do it. You only have to know this palace as well as I do. Let's go, Amar. It'll be even easier to get back out of here.
You must be insane.
There's a secret passage that'll take us outside of the city. No one knows about it except me, not even Atatur.
You know many things, but there's a very important one you don't.
No, Amar. There's nothing I don't know. You, instead, are the one who doesn't realize how treacherous the man is who's holding you here as a hostage. Atatur has already condemned your entire city, and your people are to die.
I don't believe that.
The folly of those poor devils who attempted to liberate you has already sealed the destiny of Keverin.
No, Atatur has given me his solemn word of honor. He's pardoned everyone.
No, Amar, no, he was lying to you.
And what if it's you who are lying?
The army that is being sent out to destroy Keverin will start on the march as soon as your wedding is over.
He could never be so deceitful. I begged him for pity, and I implored him.
Keep quiet.
What's going on here? I've seen you before. Now I remember where. It was when your father came to offer me his surrender.
My father is a saddle maker.
Huh. We'll see about that. Tell me who he is. Tell me who he is, or I'll strike him down before your eyes.
He's my brother.
The woman's crazy.
No, it's the truth, I tell you. And if you should kill him, Atatur, I too will take my life. And I have enough courage to do it. And if you should lead your mercenary troops against Keverin, I'll do it, I'm warning you. You will never have me, that's certain, if you destroy my city.
What if I should destroy Keverin? But you know that I gave you my word of honor.
Oh, yes, you gave it. But always with the intention not to maintain it.
Who was it that said so? Who was it that said so? I told her. Seize him!
Kirk, dear, there are other guards coming.
This way, Amar. Hurry! Jafar! Come on!
How is it that you know of a secret passage in the palace of Atatur?
This palace is mine, Jafar. Atatur doesn't know yet. Its owner's returned to claim it. Quickly, inside with you.
Samaras did not deceive us.
I would never have expected anything else from the son of Diaz.
The people all poured out of the city immediately after the army of Atatur.
Madman Atatur. The only thing he's capable of are hatred and hatching plans for vengeance.
Who knows with what horrors he will punish Keverin?
I tell you, he'll never succeed in reaching the gates of Keverin, and he'll never get back to Samaras. His last march will end right here.
To the attack!
the enemy!
You'll now have your wedding present, Atatur. It'll be the present from my people for your wedding with the Angel of Death. To the attack!
Father, I'm dying, Father.
Atatur, you shall pay for this crime, too.
I ask you for my life only. I will gladly give you back the power you desire, and your city and your throne.
You'll give them back to me, Atatur. Or have I taken them back myself? I appeal to all of you, my good friends here, to condemn this usurper. Would it be vengeance or justice and right? What's your opinion, Kamis?
Justice and right.
Justice and right. Justice and right.
Pity! No!
In this manner and always there shall be punishment meted out to all who trample upon the rights of men, making out of liberty cruel slavery, and out of justice tyranny.